My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Nope. Now, I really like Jordan Peele as a director. Get Out has a one-of-a-kind vision behind it. It's well acted, it's terrifying, it's smart. I absolutely love that movie. Then he also made Us, which I think is well directed, it's well shot, it's well acted, but the script is really bad. And the amount of suspension of disbelief required for that last act just makes the movie collapse under the weight of its own ambition. And it doesn't help that Parasite came out that same year and tackled lots of the same ideas but much better. But I was still excited for Nope because I wanted to see what Jordan Peele would do with aliens. And I have to say, this movie let me down. It is the second biggest disappointment of this week. The first is so I finished Stranger Things season 4 this week, and the first 8 episodes are phenomenal. In the last episode, it all just falls apart. So that's actually one of the greatest disappointments of my life. Nope is the second biggest disappointment this week. Like, I really wanted to love this movie. I really wanted a great alien Western horror movie, and I just thought this movie was so lacking. But let's begin talking about what I did like, and the technical aspects are really good. The movie is well shot, the visual effects look great, and the sound is absolutely fantastic. There's this great 10-minute sequence in this movie where you see almost nothing. It's just reliant on the sound, but it's enough to just create this atmosphere and this tension, and I wish the entire movie was like that 10-minute sequence. It's just before the last act. What else can I say for positives? I like the idea that he wants to explore our fascination with spectacles. And I do like the whole idea of trying to create Jaws, but with a flying saucer. I think that's a really great idea, but just everything about the execution is absolutely terrible. The biggest issue of this movie, bar none, is that it's way too long. At 2 hours and 10 minutes, it drags for an unbelievable amount of time. There is so much dead space in this movie, just periods of time where nothing is happening, and it needed to trim out like 40 minutes. If this movie was a title hour and a half, I would probably be a bit nicer about it. But I was just so bored while watching it. And it doesn't grab you until way too late into the movie. The first act just went on forever, and I was just waiting for something to happen. And then the second act, things start to happen, and then we got that great 10-minute sequence. And then in the last act, it just felt way too dragged out again, and it was just lacking in any bit of tension or thrills. And yeah, I was really bored for the majority of this movie. And it doesn't help that I had zero investment in these characters. I had zero investment in anything going on. This movie never grabbed me in any way, shape, or form. I thought all these characters were incredibly bland. Daniel Kaluuya is a very talented actor. I think he was really fantastic in both Get Out and Riddles. And he does everything that the movie needs him to do well enough. But what the movie needs him to do is just be a very boring character. He doesn't have an ounce of personality. And then we've got Keke Palmer, who has moments where she has lots of energy and moments where she really stands out. But those moments are too few and far between, and they mainly take place in the first act. And I just wanted that level of energy to her performance throughout the entire thing. I actually think she should have been the main character over Daniel Kaluuya's character. I think that would have been a much better decision. Then you've also got Brandon Pereira, who I just didn't really care about. He added nothing to this movie for me. You also got Michael Wincott, who plays this cameraman, who added nothing to this movie for me. And then you've got Stephen Yeun, who I think actually has a really great story here. And the movie should have focused on him way more, but he's almost never in it to the point where he feels irrelevant. And it's a shame because there is a backstory to his character, and I just don't know why they didn't lean into that more. Actually, speaking of his backstory, the first scene in this movie, there's a scene regarding a monkey, And I got what this scene was about, what it was trying to do. But then they go back to that scene in the second act for like 10 minutes. And I don't know why we really didn't need that sequence. So that's just example of some of the wasted time in this movie. And like I said, I had zero investment in what was going on. I was watching the screen, but I didn't care about anything. And emotion is such a huge part for me. You've got to care for your characters in some sort of way. Like, I love a good emotional movie like Manchester by the Sea, but I also like it in horror movies like The Conjuring 2. That is a standard haunted house movie, but they do make you care about the characters, and it does add something extra where you really don't want them to die. And I'm not saying I wanted these characters to die, I'm just saying that I didn't care about anything that was happening. You know, there was no level of depth to these characters or to anything going on. The movie's trying to make a commentary on our fascination with spectacle, and there's a few great ideas there, but it really doesn't feel like the movie ends up saying anything at all. And this movie also makes a few decisions that really annoyed me. Like, the first act of this movie is filled with fake scares. Like, oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, it's just a kid in a costume. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, it's just a bug. And I just got sick of it really fast. And in the second act of this movie, there was like a good 15-minute period where it kept fading to black time and time again, and it just kept taking me out of the movie. And I also do want to comment on something, because I've seen so many people say, stay away from spoilers, you don't want this movie ruined for you. And after watching this movie, like, I'm not going to give anything away, but I don't know, it's kind of the movie I expected it to be. There's not a ton going on story-wise, so I don't know what that was all about. But look, this is a movie that I just did not care about. When this movie ended, I got up immediately, and I don't think I'll ever rewatch it. The technical aspects are really impressive. There is a great 10-minute sequence just before the last act, but I was so bored for the majority of this movie, I just found it to be lacking in every way. I found the story to be underwhelming and a lesser attempt at what it could have been. Like, if they just played it more simple and just had it be Jaws but with a flying saucer, that could have been a really great, intense, and thrilling movie. But then it just goes in all these directions and none of them worked for me. I didn't find the characters to be interesting on any level. I had zero emotional investment in them. And it's just a movie that did nothing for me. For the majority of this movie, I was just relentlessly bored. So I'm going to go ahead and give Nope a 3 out of 10. It's a nope for me. At least I got to make that joke. Okay, but honestly though, that Stranger Things finale was just so frustrating. Why can't they just kill off some characters? Like, it really takes me off. And it was way too long, and you should have removed all the sappy stuff in the last half hour, end it off on the same night, don't do that time jump, and it would have been all the better for it. I'm still very, very disappointed in that last episode, because everything up until that point was absolutely amazing, and I just felt like the season blew it in the last episode. It's still a really good season, but my goodness, it could have been one of the best ever made, and it's just frustrating. What was I talking about? Right, yes, Nope. Have you seen Nope? Did you say Nope? I hope you did. But anyways, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.